United Nations estimates that a refugee stays in a camp for an average of 17 years. One international advocacy group is working to change that. In Defense of Christians is helping Christian refugees build safe and self-sustaining economic communities. Joining me now is the managing director of that program, Stephen Hollingshead. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
What is your goal for refugees? Security and economic stability are key.
Yes. Well, as you mentioned, the UN knows that people stay in camps an average of 17 years, and that's because not just governments but also even churches focus on relief, the short-term need, the tents, the blankets,
right,
and so forth, and they don't focus on economic revitalization.
And what is that specifically?
Well, first you need security. We need a safe zone like the ones that worked in Bosnia and in Kurdistan.
Excuse me, but after they get out of the refugee camps,
right,
then once they leave there, they go back home, they need a safe zone, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, they need the safe zone to have the security so they feel like they can go back. But then their economy has completely stopped. So how do you get it started again? And the goal of our project, IraqHaven.org, is to get American and Mexican and European business people to create distribution channels to buy their stuff so that they can restart those farms, restart those processing plants.
You went to Iraq and have some experience with this around olives.
Yes. Well, we didn't get it put together this year. We were racing the frost. The last 3 years since ISIS destroyed the only olive mill on the Nineveh plain, olive farmers haven't even picked their olives because if you don't make them right into olive oil, they're ruined, and it's not worth the labor to pick them. So I was trying to put together, we got some olive farmers together. They were ready. I got an Australian olive oil expert, and the Italians were going to give us a mill, and we were going to make this stuff, but we couldn't get it sold in time.
Happen, right, because of the frost. But that's the idea. That is sort of the nut of what you want to do, which is have these people who have been displaced, again, take ownership of their community. And the other way that
and if you ask them, that's what they want. They don't want more handouts. They want to work to earn their daily bread. They want to have that dignity that grown-ups...
Dignity of the human person. It's very much like the Catholic social teaching of subsidiarity.
Yes.
So what do you think needs to be done to get that security so that the people feel like, yes, they can go back?
Well, first you start with an international safe zone like the ones that worked right next door in Kurdistan in 1991, that worked in Bosnia, so that the security's there. But then you have to get that economic redevelopment going. That's why what we're doing is trying, instead of the usual government way is, oh, bridges were bombed, let's build the bridges, let's start top down, let's build a hospital. We're starting bottom up to try to find out what are the assets, what do they have? The first thing you should ask, what do you do? There's no government organization going family by family and saying, what were you before? Were you a teacher? Were you an engineer?
And trying, instead of to fit the location, the bombed out location with the person, fit the person with it. It makes absolute sense. What is the website?
IraqHaven.org.
IraqHaven.org. Managing Director of the program, Stephen Hollingshead. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.